Boys, finally back. I made it back after my long time off, but I'm here. Basically, all that happened in the last few months was I took a short break. I was dealing with a lot of work, a lot of school, and then I tried to get back into things, and things just wasn't going right. I wasn't necessarily proud of the things that I was going to put out, so I just sat back and I chilled for a bit, and I let basketball happen. I let the year kind of wrap up, and surprisingly enough, I counted them all out, but my Bucks are NBA champions is right there. Bucks are NBA champions, and I am on cloud nine. I have been for a while. I know I seem ecstatic right now, obviously, but I'm pumped about the state of basketball right now, and I'm very excited to get back into videos. I can't promise it to be super consistent with college coming straight up, but I'm really hoping that I can spread the word of basketball like I used to and like I want to for the future. I really want to grow this channel, and I know that starts with consistency. So I'm going to absolutely try my best, and I appreciate all the people that have stuck around and that have waited. I know I kind of probably was just forgotten about, but I'm back. So in today's video, the Summer League is currently going on. I think it's like day 3. And, we've seen some very surprising players, as always, in the Summer League. Like, every year, there's, like, a guy that drops 35, and everyone's like, oh, watch out for him this year. He's going to have a great year. He should be getting minutes for this team. And then we remember 2 months into the season, we're like, oh, shoot, who's that guy that I was talking about 2 months ago? And we remember that these guys, it's just a Summer League, and that there's nothing to really care about. There's certain things to pick out and look for, but nothing yet. So I put together a list of six breakout players that I think will actually break out next year. Most of these guys are actually second and third year guys that I think will actually have a great year for their teams. Not necessarily meaning that their teams will be good or any better, but I think these guys will have a serious statistics jump, but get more on the radars of other players and teams, and we'll see what these teams do. All these teams look to be in a not great place. That's not true. All right, we're gonna get into the video. So these are my breakout players, my 6 breakout players for this upcoming season. So I want to start off with an obvious one, in my opinion, Kevin Porter Jr. Cleveland Cavaliers guard. You might be able to list him as a small forward, but might be able to list him as a point guard. But he's typically a shooting guard, and he had some crazy scoring outbursts last year. He went for 50 one night. He goes for 30 when he does. Like, people look at him as the next James Harden, and yes, that is an overreaction. You can't just get another James Harden like that overnight. But Kevin Porter Jr. has some serious scoring potential. And the thing about the Rockets. He was traded from the Cavs. The thing about the Rockets is that they had absolutely nobody to score the ball. And you saw that because Kelly Olynyk was averaging like 19 and 11 on that team. Like, there's no reason that Kelly Olynyk should be doing that. Unless at like 27 years old, Kelly Olynyk just hit this crazy developmental breakthrough, and now he's one of the top power forward scorers in the league. But I don't think that's true. I think that somebody had to score the ball to get over 80 points, and it was Kevin Porter Jr. and it was Kelly Olynyk. Out of the two guys, Kevin Porter Jr. has real potential, real talent, and he can actually score. Like, with the best of the guys in the league, I think he has the real tools to do so in the future. So Kevin Porter Jr. Now having Jalen Green and a healthy Christian Wood, that's not a good team, but that is a team that can score around him. And what that means for Kevin Porter Jr. is he's not going to take a 10-point per game leap, or he's not going to be the number one scorer on that team. But Kevin Porter Jr. is going to solidify himself. Since he's going to be the second or third option, he's going to have the space, and he's going to have enough opportunity to take a jump and to be put on notice. Everyone knows Kevin Porter Jr. because of his 50-point game. Everyone knows him because of his 30-point games, and they expect so much out of him. But in terms of actual breaking through and getting to the next level of, okay, this guy doesn't just have potential anymore. This guy's actually he's taking the first step into fulfilling that potential. I think that's what Kevin Porter Jr. is going to do next year. Let me know in the comments. But Going back to the Cavs. I know I kept on saying that Kevin Porter Jr. is on the Cavs. I know he's not. Okay, don't flame me in the comments. Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers. In the first 20 games of the season last year, went absolutely nuts. Him and Colin Sexton, we were calling them Sexland. They were one of the best teams in the East for whatever reason. I mean, it was Cleveland. But Darius Garland looked amazing out there, like a top point guard. And not a top point guard, but you know what I'm saying. He looked really good. And then him and Colin Sexton would constantly get hurt. I think this is finally the year. I know we've been saying it for a couple years now about Darius. He gets over the hump. He becomes a very, very solid guy. And why? That's because of Evan Mobley. I don't know what the Cavs are going to do with Kevin Love. I don't know what they're going to do with Colin Sexton. He's in rumors right now. So all of that, what I'm saying, is contingent on the Colin Sexton and Kevin Love rumors and everything like that. But you add Evan Mobley. You have a full year of Jared Allen. Hopefully a full year of Darius Garland. Hopefully a full year of Colin Sexton. And hey, hold on now. This team won't do any damage. But this lack of forward play that has been going on with Cleveland for the last 2 years, where they really haven't had a solid big man at all. Kevin Love has barely been there, but I'm talking about it's been Colin Sexton and Darius Garland and just basically small guards. And with the amount of perimeter defenders in this league now, you can't get away with just having that. I mean, it just doesn't work. You add in a couple more threats, big man threats, and I think that this player, Darius Garland, has an opportunity to lead this team or be the second guy on this team in terms of getting some wins. Now, I don't think they're going to get many wins. But when they do, it'll be Darius Garland, and I can promise you that. Another point guard, Tyrese Maxey for Philly. This is another one like Kevin Porter Jr. where it's okay, kind of could have seen that one coming in this video because he went off when Ben Simmons wasn't on the floor. I mean, when he got starter level minutes, it was really early in the season, but Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and a ton of guys were out with COVID, and Philly had 7 players. Tyrese Maxey dropped 38. This guy is a true bucket getter. That's what he does. He goes out there and he gets buckets, and he does nothing else, but he gets buckets. And with Ben Simmons and all the rumors, I doubt that he plays another game in a Philadelphia 76ers uniform. I doubt it. With him, it looks like he's cut off all ties with Philly, and I doubt that he suits up game 1. And I think it's Tyrese Maxey's time. I mean, I think that Doc Rivers, he said that he loves Tyrese, and I mean, sure, it's coming from a coach. Of course, he's going to say he loves it. But I really think that this team is going to go with Tyrese Maxey for the future. I think he's going to get very quality minutes, and this is going to be a breakout year because his rookie year, he didn't get an opportunity. Now he's getting an opportunity. I think he's going to show people what Tyrese Maxey can do. RJ Barrett is a big one. New York Knicks. The Knicks made some serious moves this offseason. I think they had a terribly underrated offseason. I mean, people know about what they did this offseason, but I think what they did was terribly underrated. I'm not sure what's going on with my shoulders. I was straight. All right, so with the New York Knicks offseason, I mean, they had, solid guard play. Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickley. They already had Julius Randle, their All-NBA guy. They had Mitchell Robinson holding it down in the paint. And RJ Barrett has been the inconsistent scorer that comes in and does he plays really good defense, then he comes on the other side and he scores occasionally. His percentages are low constantly. He picked it up sometimes, but we never know what it's going to be like with RJ Barrett. Well, they went out there and they got bucket getters. They got Evan Fournier, bucket getter. But really, they got Kemba Walker. And if Kemba Walker is a shade of himself from Charlotte, this team is seriously underrated going into the season, and it opens up so much for RJ Barrett to be the leading scorer on this team. You and me both know that what Julius Randle did was dope. It's not happening again. Julius Randle's not doing that again. He might be a shade of it, but he's not the same one as we saw last year. He's never going to do All-NBA things again. RJ Barrett, people forget that coming out of Duke, Zion Williamson was that dude, of course, but if it wasn't Zion, I mean, it was RJ was that guy. If Zion didn't go at the same time as RJ would have been another one of those Duke legends because that man was so talented. He does it on both sides, but this guy, he's something else. And I think that when you give him a team full of scorers, he can take good shots, efficient shots. And when you take away Julius Randle's shots a little bit, Kemba Walker may be struggling one night. Evan Fournier, turns into just a shooter and only a shooter, and Mitch Robinson we know can't score, RJ Barrett might take over a few games here and there. You might be hearing his name because Madison Square Garden and the New York media, they're not quiet. So if RJ is not playing well, I mean, you got other guys to rely on. And hopefully, I know Tom Thibodeau is a good enough coach to know when to take out a player. That didn't sound right because of D Rose. I know. I just mean he plays the guys who are playing best at the time. He doesn't care about youth. He doesn't care about minutes. He doesn't care about the lack of importance in the game. If you're playing well, he's going to keep you in. If you're not playing well, he's not going to play you. I have a feeling that he's going to treat RJ the same, and RJ is going to be playing a lot this season. Another guy, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He had a 30-point game, I think it was 2 years ago, and people were going crazy over him. And then he just kind of faded into the background. And no one watches Pelicans games. Neither do I. I don't watch Pelicans games. But if you watch any at all, you see that when Lonzo Ball wasn't on the floor, Nickeil Alexander played really, really well. Maybe wasn't always scoring impact, but he played really, really well. Now you lose Lonzo Ball. You bring in Vontae Graham. Nickeil Alexander-Walker fits the starting point guard build a lot more than Devontae Graham. Devontae Graham last year lost his starting job. I think he will again this year because Nickeil Alexander-Walker will get real minutes. He'll have a more spaced out team. Jonas Valanciunas was a great addition. I think that the Pelicans kind of have something going here. I mean, I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think that this is a step in the right direction. I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker will plateau himself onto a real, from a garbage minutes kind of guy or a if someone's hurt kind of guy, then I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do my thing and I'm going to be a good player. I think he turns into a legit, okay, we're going up against the Pelicans, Zion, Jonas Valanciunas, Devontae Graham, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You know what I mean? Lastly on this list, Poku. I don't know how to say his full name, honestly. I don't know if you do, but I don't. Poku for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, this team is going to be bad, but Poku is a demigod. He's a 7-foot guard. That man can do it all. And we saw last year, there was obviously very good flashes for him. But he's going to take a big jump this year. He looks like a lot of guys coming out of their rookie year. They might have a very solid rookie year, but then something switches that summer. And that rookie year under your belt helps so much for these guys. And Poku is no different. He's got great coaches out there. He's got a great front office and a team that needs a scorer, like a certified scorer. A lot of those prospects can score, but this team needs Poku. And Poku's going to come in, he's going to get buckets, and this one's just a gut feeling because there's nothing that's telling me that Poku's going to be amazing. But he showed flashes last year, and I think he's going to bring it this year because when you show that good of flashes in your rookie year, and then nothing really has changed in the offseason, and you get that rookie year under your belt, world's got to watch out for Poku. I mean, this guy could be the next big thing. So, to kind of wrap it up, Darius Garland, Tyrese Maxey, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, RJ Barrett, and my big one, Kevin Porter Jr. Keep those guys on your radar. We're going to fly through Summer League. You're going to be like, blah, 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 guy we've never heard of. He's having the game of his life. He's having a great stretch. Maybe he'll make a roster. Well, these guys are on the rosters. We're not going to see him play that much. In the Summer League, we might not see any of these guys play at all. But look, these are guys that in 2 months, you'll be talking about rather than these other Summer League dudes. It's great to be back, y'all. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope to be making more content. Drop video ideas down below. What you want to see, what you want me to talk about. I love talking about basketball. And I'll see you guys in the next one, all right? Peace.